Hi, my name is Alagmal, and this is my poster for the R&D showcase. So, the title of my poster reads Comparison of Cognitive and Musical Aptitude Abilities by Multimodal Fusion Approach of SMRI and fMRI data of musicians and non-musicians. Right. So, let's go into the abstract. So, the reason behind this study is that there is a lot of studies that have attributed either musical ability, musical training, or the age of onset of musical training, and so on and so forth, as these factors as giving a positive effect on a variety of abilities like overall developmental or cognitive or motor or even therapeutic effects it gives to a person, an individual. So, but the question here persists is that if these positive effects are really dependent on our musical training or experience, or is it because of a person's inherent musical aptitude? So, this musical aptitude is the brain's ability to detect musical sounds, and it serves as a prerequisite for appreciating music. And this musical aptitude varies from person to person. So our objective here is to find if this musical aptitude is the actual uh, actual thing that gives these positive effects, or something else, or these musical training, or these musical ability, or all so on and so forth. So right now, this study could understand the origins of these desirable effects by doing a multimodal fusion approach. So the image on the side shows like some popular multimodal fusion approaches. The fusion approach that we are planning on doing is the MCCA plus JICA, which is multi-set canonical correlation analysis, and JICA stands for joint independent component analysis. Right. So this is the objective. So the main objective of our study is to actually find regions of interest or corresponding to musical aptitude on the structural data and the functional data. So for structural data, we analyze the structural data using a method called voxel-based morphometry. The pipeline of this voxel-based morphometry is given on the image on the side. So what we need is basically the gray matter segment. So voxel-based morphometry segments the brain into gray matter, white matter, and CSF. So for our research, we need the gray matter segment. So the gray matter is segmented first in native space, then it is segmented in a global template space, and then it is smoothed. So these smooth images are used for the further analysis in our to find out if there is a region of, if there are certain regions of interest that correspond with musical aptitude. Same way, we will be doing for functional measures. So to identify functional measures using graph theory methods, and then identifying regions of interest of corresponding to musical aptitude based on that. Now, finally, what we will be doing is using these SMRI and fMRI data using multimodal fusion techniques, which were explained in the previous slide, like JICA or JICA and MCCA. So this multimodal fusion technique, what is this multimodal fusion technique? It is a very popular brain imaging technique where you use different modalities of the brain imaging data, which in this case we've used the structural modality and the functional modality. And then you fuse them together to get a more comprehensive, a more clear picture of the brain. So let's say we want to know if a brain structure affects the brain function or not. We can use this multimodal fusion approach to find this out. So that is the reason why we've chosen this particular approach, to find to give us more clearer picture of how if this musical aptitude really affects the brain, and if so, how does it affect the structure and consequently the function of the brain. Right. So this is next is the method. The method is basically what I've explained previously only. So method, what I've done is we've collected the T1 images from the participants, from 122 participants. And these images are analyzed using the VBM approach, which I have explained in the previous slide. Later, regression analysis is done between the VBM modified images, which is the smooth gray matter images, and musical aptitude values to identify regions of interest. So this regression analysis can be anything simple, like a correlation test, like a Spearman correlation test or a Pearson correlation test. So next, the musical aptitude values. The musical aptitude values were measured using a test called the seashore pitch and time test, and this is used to measure the musical aptitude of a person. Now, next what we are planning to do is the fMRI, the pre-processed fMRI images will be analyzed using certain graph-based network analysis. So we are working on finding a graph-based network analysis method that perfectly fits our data. And this will be done on the images to identify the regions of interest for musical aptitude in functional data as well. Now, the final part is that the joint ICA and NCCA analysis will be done on the SMRI and fMRI images for the further analysis and to see if musical aptitude has something to do with the positive effects of music that are exhibited in the participants. So this is the research topic this poster is based on. Thank you for your time.